Hi, Nicole Ben Simon here from Melbourne, Australia. I just wanted to hop on and just share a couple of very important and interesting insights into what's been going on here in Melbourne and my take on what's been happening. So basically, without much warning, it was announced to us a couple of days ago that we are out of lockdown as such, and after so many months of getting used to the new way of life, where instead of going to bars and cafes, we have been spending time in nature and doing the things that finding the things that we can do and doing more of those. And so suddenly this new opportunity, this new change again has just come our way. And it's very interesting to see what the reactions are of people who are now facing this newness, this new change again after being a certain way for so long. And it's very interesting to look at the idea of change and the way that humanity find change to be quite frightening and quite overwhelming, because since March 2020 we were pretty much in lockdown and isolation, and we needed to adjust to the new way of being. So no more cafes and bars and shopping centers and all of that. And suddenly we sort of paved a new way of being for ourselves. And a lot of people have now started to, get used to catching up or spending time in nature, being in parks, doing lots of picnics. I mean, the parks have been full of families and friends, small groups having picnics, and we sort of got used to a way of being that we almost adapted to the rules of the isolation, and I feel as though a lot of people have actually become complacent with it and really adopted it, and it's become a new way of being. And a lot of people are catching up and walking and exercising and being in nature amongst the trees and grounding and really preparing their own food. And it, on so many levels, it's been quite an eye-opening and uplifting new way of being, because as our options were limited, we got used to being a certain way, and now suddenly out of the blue we've just been it's been announced that everything's opening up, the shops, the cafes, the supermarkets have always been open, but the bars and shopping centers. And for us, I mean, it's been a good 6-7 months where we haven't had that. And it's quite interesting, as I've been speaking to many people, to hear what their reaction is to this new change. And a lot of people are actually quite anxious, quite nervous, quite unprepared. And it made me think, what is it that we fear so much about change? And it's very interesting because we are often so, it's our natural bodies, fight and flight mode, that we are actually, our ego protects us and keeps us safe and helps us to feel that we're in a predictable environment, and we sort of are aware of what we're doing and we know what to do. And the minute that something just changes, there's this overwhelming sense of, how am I going to cope? I'm not used to this, and my mindset is a certain way, and I don't know if I can go back that other way. And so it's very, very interesting how, despite the fact that lots of places are opening, and I've been driving past cafes and they're full, and a lot of people are loving this new way of being, but I've also been looking at the parks, and there are lots and lots of people that are still used to this new way of being that we've had for the last 7 months. And even going to the dog park, where there are so many people that gather, and it's become a bit of a daily routine where they meet each other and connect, and people are still now having the ability to continue with these new patterns that they've adopted during this isolation period. And it's very interesting, because I feel that a lot of us really do fear change. And it's for this reason that a lot of people stay where they are, because when we're in a predictable place and we know the environment and we are used to it, then we often would rather stay safe and stay, well, we think it's safe, but we'd rather stay where we know rather than make a shift and make a change where is the fear of the unknown. And often, a lot of people who are, in relationships and whereas once there was a beautiful connection, and then suddenly that connection isn't there, but there's this a false sense of safety that comes along with predictability. And the thing that interests me is that we believe that because things are predictable and safe, that we feel that we should stay where we are. And we often don't question, making a big change, because it's a bit all too scary and it's a bit overwhelming. And that's the thing that really sparked an interest in me, because this natural way that we can observe ourselves, it fascinates me, and I feel that a lot of people do subconsciously stay where they are because they feel that it's safe. They stay doing the same routine, stay doing the same, the same scenario, because that is what they're familiar with and that's what they think is safe. And so, when we suddenly were not driving to work, we were starting to use Zoom, or we were starting to work from home and then adapt to having your family around in the background when you're at work, or adapt to, that the only outing you really have is the supermarket or maybe the park. And then suddenly, after all of these years, months where we've been quite complacent with it and quite used to it, now we're going back to all of these things opening, and it is very overwhelming for a lot of people. And it's very, very interesting to me, because a lot of people have actually made peace with this new way and with this calmness, and suddenly it's like, wow, oh my goodness, I don't know where to put myself. And so I just wanted to just share that, because we are all creatures of habit. We really are. And we like to place ourselves in an environment that is familiar and an environment that is somewhat predictable. And the truth is that most of the growth that does happen for us happens when we are open to change and we are open to shifting. And it's almost like this level of surrender and just allowing what needs to happen without without having to control it. And so it's very interesting that we are now learning almost to be with the flow of life, and just almost like a feather that just flies in the wind and just takes its own path. And I feel that when we learn how to have no attachment to outcome, and how to have a purpose and have a goal and have a direction, but if that goal doesn't pan out the way we really wanted it to pan out, okay, so there's another direction my path can take, and go for that opening and see what else is around the corner or behind that door, because it may be something that you need. So my message for you today is, when you perceive life as guiding you, and people around you as guiding you, and situations as guiding you as to where you can go and be in the flow, it's like this level of surrender where I have my own plan, but there is a higher plan. There is something bigger than me that knows better. And so be open, be open to a bit of a shift. And, it's almost like you can live life in two ways. You can actually take your boat, get your oars, and just paddle uphill. And with all that work, or you can go downstream and not even need your oars and just go with the flow of life. And so I really think that a lot of us need to actually have the awareness that naturally our body wants us to stay where we are, because that's where we think we are safe, but that's also where we're not growing. So allow yourself to look around and to look at the opportunities that come your way. And even if it's not your plan, just give it an opportunity to unravel, so that you can see if life is trying to point you in a direction that's more beneficial to your true path. So I guess what I wanted to say was that change is not a bad thing, and adapting yourself to life and life circumstances could be the best thing you ever do. So thank you.